walk up. Got your clearance lights, your mark lights, your four-way flashers, left and right turn signal, your headlights, high and low beam. They're working on all functions. They're proper in color. They're clean and free of debris. You have your hood mirrors. Securely mounted, not cracked, broken, or damaged. No puddles under vehicle indicating a leak. Now you lift the hood. Clear. Give it hands at all times. Upper and lower radiator hose securely mounted at both ends. No abrasions, bulges, or cuts. Not leaking. Got your alternator securely mounted, not cracked, broken, or damaged. Got your alternator wires securely mounted at both ends. No cut, torn, or frayed. Alternator belt driven. Belt has no more than 3/4 of an inch of play, and has no cuts, torn, not cut, torn, or frayed. Your water pump is down there. It's currently mounted, not cracked, broken, or damaged. It is not leaking. It is also belt driven. The belt has no more than 3/4 inch play and is not cut, torn, or frayed. You have your exhaust from the manifold to the back of the vehicle. It's currently mounted, not cracked, broken, or damaged. It's not leaking. If it was leaking, it would be indicated by rust or black carbon trail or rust, black soot. Sorry. Okay. All your hoses are securely mounted at both ends. No abrasions, bulges, or cuts. They're not leaking. All your wires are securely mounted at both ends. They're not cut, torn, or frayed. Okay. Oh, no, thank you. So here you can work yourself way in and out, whatever you want to do. I'll start up here. That's a radiator fluid reservoir. It's securely mounted, not cracked, broken, or damaged. It's not leaking. The cap is hand tight and it's filled to the proper level, as you can see through the side of the container there. You have oil dipstick. This is where I check the oil. It is full. This is the oil cap. This is the oil fill tube. There's a cap, securely mounted, not cracked, broken, or damaged. This is where I would fill or add oil if I needed it. Okay. You have your power steering pump and your air compressor. They're both securely mounted, not cracked, broken, or damaged. They're not leaking, and they're both gear driven. You have your power steering hoses. They're securely mounted at both ends. No abrasions, bulges, or cuts. They're not leaking. You have your power steering reservoir. Securely mounted, not cracked, broken, or damaged. It's not leaking. The cap is hand tight and it's filled to the proper level, as you can see through the side of the very clean tank there. Okay. Your airlines are all securely mounted, not cracked, broken, or damaged. They're not leaking. You have your steering shaft securely mounted, not cracked, broken, or damaged. The universal joints are properly greased. You have your gearbox securely mounted, it's not leaking. Not missing any nuts or bolts. Got your pitman arm, your drag link, your upper lower steering knuckle, your tie rod, and they are all securely mounted with 3 castle nuts and cotter pins. It's not cracked, broken, or damaged, and the bushings are in place. You have your front and rear spring mount. You have your springs, your U-bolt, and your nuts. They are all securely mounted, not cracked, broken, or damaged. They are not shifted or scissored. Okay. You have your shock absorber. It's securely mounted top and bottom. It's not cracked, broken, or damaged. It's not leaking, and the bushings are in place. You have your brake hose. It's securely mounted at both ends. It's not cracked, broken, or damaged. It's not leaking. You have all your wires and hoses are securely mounted at both ends. They're not cracked, broken, or damaged, or cut, torn, frayed, or raised, bulged, or cut. They're not leaking. You have your Your slack adjuster and your push rod, they're securely mounted, not cracked, broken, or damaged. There's no more than 1 inch of play when the brakes are released. You have your brake chamber and your C-clamp. They're securely mounted, not cracked, broken, or damaged, and it's not leaking. You have your brake liners and drums. They're securely mounted, not cracked, broken, or damaged. Liners can be no less than 1/4 inch, or they are not worn dangerously thin, whichever you want to say. There's no grease, oil, debris, anything like that. Okay, they're both securely mounted, not cracked, broken, or damaged. Brake drums have no illegal welds or holes. You have your tire. It is securely mounted. There's no abrasion, bulges, or cuts. It's not leaking. It is worn evenly. It is worn no less than 4/30 seconds. This must be a virgin tire. This is filled to the manufacturer's specifications indicated on the sidewall of the tire. I would check that here at the valve stem. That's where I would also fill it if it needed air. The valve stem is securely mounted, not cracked, broken, or damaged, and the metal cap is in place. The tire is securely mounted to the rim. The rim is securely mounted to the axle. It is not cracked, broken, damaged, no illegal welds or holes. The lug nuts are securely mounted, not cracked, broken, damaged, not missing. There's no spider trails, rust trails, or shiny threads indicating over tightness or looseness. Okay. No illegal welds on that elbow either. You got your inner axle or outer hub seal. They're securely mounted, not cracked, broken, damaged, not leaking. It is filled to the proper level, which I would check through the sight glass, and I would fill it right here if need be. Okay. Come over here. Got your left and right turn signal, your 4-way flashers, and your marker light. It's amber in color, working on all functions. It's securely mounted, not cracked, broken, damaged, and clean. Got your hood mirrors, securely mounted, not cracked, broken, damaged. Okay. Your door, securely mounted, not cracked, broken, damaged. Latches and unlatches properly. 100% weather stripping, which is securely mounted, not cracked, broken, damaged, or missing. Your hinges, securely mounted, not cracked, broken, or damaged. You can support the weight of the door. Your steps and your catwalk, they're all securely mounted. They're not cracked, broken, damaged, and they can support the weight of the driver, and they're free of any debris. That's your def tank. It's securely mounted, not cracked, broken, or damaged. No less than 1/8 of a tank. Cap is in place. Got your fuel tank. Securely mounted, not cracked, broken, or damaged. It's not leaking. Metal cap is in place. Rubber seal is in place and not leaking. Come over here. Talk about what you can't see here. Go ahead and talk about your drive shafts and universal joints. Securely mounted, not cracked, broken, or damaged. The universal joints are greased properly. It's free of debris also. Okay. Rear of your tractor, you have your reflectors, DMT reflectors, and your work lights. They are both clear in color, working on all functions. You have your air lines. They're securely mounted from the tractor to the glad hands. They're not abrased, bulged, or cut. They're not leaking. They're not dragging the catwalk. The rubber grommets are in place. You have your electrical line just from the tractor to the electrical connector. It is securely mounted. No cuts, not cut, torn, or free. And it's held in place on both sides with a spring-loaded latch. It's not dragging the catwalk. All of it stuff. Got a torsion bar. It's securely mounted, not cracked, broken, or damaged. Got your frame and your cross members securely mounted, not cracked, broken, or damaged. No illegal welds. Okay. This is not a mud flap. Don't call it one, please. You've got your brakes, brake lines, brake hoses, securely mounted, not cracked, broken, damaged, no abrasions, bulges, or cuts. They're not leaking. Securely mounted at both ends. You got the brake chamber, your C-clamp, slack adjuster, your push rod. They're securely mounted, not cracked, broken, or damaged. Not leaking. No more than 1 inch of play when in the slack adjuster and push rod when the brakes are released. Got your brake liners, brake drums, securely mounted, not cracked, broken, damaged, no illegal welds. free of debris, oil, grease, and the liners cannot be worn dangerously thin or below 1/4 of an inch, whichever you want to say. Okay. You have your spring mounts, front and rear, your springs, your U-bolts, your nuts. They're all securely mounted, not cracked, broken, damaged, not missing, not shifted. You have your airbags securely mounted, not cracked, broken, damaged, no abrasions, bulges, or cuts. They're not leaking. You have your shock towers securely mounted top and bottom, not cracked, broken, damaged, not leaking, and bushings are in place. You have your tires securely mounted to the rim. There's no abrasions, bulges, or cuts. Tread is worn evenly. They are no less than 4/32 and they can be a retread. They're filled to the proper manufacturer specification, which is on the sidewall of the tire. They cannot be leaking. You would check the air pressure at the valve stem. It's securely mounted, not cracked, broken, damaged, metal caps in place. That's where I would also fill it if it needed some air. You got your bud space. It's securely mounted, not cracked, broken, or damaged. Free of debris and there's no light. Okay. Tires securely mounted to the ground. Rims securely mounted to the axle. Rims free of any debris. It's not cracked, broken, or damaged. And there is no illegal welds or holes. You have your lug nuts. They're all securely mounted, not cracked, broken, damaged. No rust or spider trails or shiny threads, which indicate over tightness or looseness. Get your inner axle and outer axle seal securely mounted, not cracked, broken, or damaged, not leaking. I would inspect this tire and axle the same as these tires and axles the same as I did these tires and axles. Okay. I'm going to come back here. I'm going to talk about my mud flap. Mud flaps are securely mounted, not cracked, broken, damaged. 100% DOT tape across the mud flap. You have your reflectors. You have your backup light. You have your tag light. You have your left and right turn signal, your marker lights, your four-way flashers, your tail lights, your brake lights. They're all securely mounted, not cracked, broken, or damaged. All the proper color, and they're working on all functions. Okay. Let's go over here. Let's talk about your apron. Securely mounted to the trailer. Not cracked, broken, damaged. Kingpin securely mounted to the apron. It's not cracked, broken, or damaged. Locking jaws are securely locked around the kingpin shank. It's not cracked, broken, or damaged. Locking handle is in place and in the lock position. Your skid plate securely mounted to the platform. It's not cracked, broken, or damaged. It's properly greased and there's no gap between the skid plate and the apron. The platform is securely mounted to the frame. It's not cracked, broken, or damaged. It's not missing any nuts or bolts. The sliding fifth wheel is securely mounted, not cracked, broken, or broken or damaged. Locking pins are in the lock position. The airline is securely mounted at both ends. No abrasions, bulges, cuts. It's not leaking. Okay. Pins are in the lock position also. Got your clearance lights securely mounted, not cracked, broken, or damaged. Proper in color, working all functions. Got your pedal board securely mounted, not cracked, broken, damaged, not missing any rivets. Will support the weight of the load. Okay. I'll talk about my electrical box. It's securely mounted, not cracked, broken, or damaged. Walking up the side. Got your DOT tape. 50% DOT tape down the side of the trailer. Got your trailer frame, cross members, your floor. They're all securely mounted, not cracked, broken, or damaged. Will support the weight of the load. There's no holes in the floor. Side of the trailer, securely mounted, not cracked, broken, damaged, no missing rivets, will support the weight of the load. Got your landing gear, securely mounted, not cracked, broken, damaged. Got your stand feet, securely mounted to the landing gear. It's not cracked, broken, damaged, they're in an upright position and free of debris. The crank handle, securely mounted, not cracked, broken, or damaged, and it's properly stowed in its cradle. Now looking up the side here. Got your marker light. That's the right turn signal, four-way flashers. Proper or amber in color. Working with all functions. Airlines and hoses, securely mounted. Both ends, not cracked, broken, or damaged. no abrasions, balls are cuts, not cut corner free, not leaking. Got your torque bar. Securely mounted, not cracked, broken, or damaged. Got your trailer hand and frame, securely mounted, not cracked, broken, or damaged. The pins in the handle are in the lock position. You have your locking wheel right here. So y'all know where it's at on this trailer. You have your brake lines and hoses. Securely mounted, not cracked, broken, damaged, no abrasions, bulges, or cuts. They're not leaking. They're mounted, securely mounted both ends. Got your brake chamber. Got your slack adjuster, push rod, your C-clamp, all securely mounted, not cracked, broken, damaged, not leaking. Slack adjuster, push rod have no more than 1 inch of play when brakes are released. Got your brake drums and your brake liner, securely mounted, not cracked, broken, or damaged, and free of debris, oil, grease, and not worn dangerously. The liner is not worn dangerously thin, and the brake drums don't have any illegal welds. Got your suspension, front and rear spring mount. Got your springs, got your U-bolt, you got your nuts. They're all securely mounted, not cracked, broken, or damaged, not missing. Springs are not shifted, or scissored, you can call it. There's no shock tower on here. There's no airbags in this. Got your tires, securely mounted. No abrasions, bulges, or cuts, not leaking. Worn evenly. No less than 230 seconds of tread depth. And they are securely mounted to the rim. Still get your proper manufacturer specifications indicated on the sidewall of the tire. You check the pressure right there at the valve stem. It's securely mounted, not cracked, broken, damaged. Metal cap is in place. That's where I would also fill it if need be. Your bud space is securely mounted, not cracked, broken, or damaged. There's no debris. It's free of debris, and there's no light shining to it. Got your rims securely mounted to the axle. It's not cracked, broken, damaged. No illegal welds. Got your lug nuts securely mounted, not cracked, broken, damaged, not missing. And no sweater trails, rough trails, or shiny threads indicating over tightness or looseness. Inner axle outer hub seal securely mounted, not cracked, broken, or damaged. It is filled to the proper level. You check it for your sight glass. It's not leaking either. I would expect these tires and axle the same as I did these tires and axle. Got your mud flaps securely mounted, not cracked, broken, damaged, not dragging the ground. Up there, I forgot, between the landing gear and the rear of the tractor, has to have enough clearance for the tractor to make proper turns. Okay. Here we should have an ABS light. ABS light, marker light, securely mounted, not cracked, broken, damaged, working on all functions, proper in color. If the ABS light was on, it would indicate a problem with the braking system. Back here, we have our clearance lights, our marker lights, our tail lights, our left and right turn signal, our four-way flashers, and our brake lights. Our tag lights, they are all securely mounted, not cracked, broken, or damaged, proper in color, working on all functions. We have our trailer door, our cables, our handle, our strap, our latch, all properly securely mounted, not cracked, broken, damaged, in the lock position. You have your tags, properly securely mounted, not cracked, broken, damaged. It is current. You got your DOT bumper, or your it's ICC bumper. It has 100% DOT tape. It is not cracked, broken, damaged. I would expect this side of the vehicle the same as I did that side of the vehicle. Complete slide out.